Welcome to BizTech's Asia's hottest startup show. Now, over the next year, we're going to be featuring hot startups across Asia, sharing their entrepreneurial journeys and sharing with us why, and just maybe, they could be Asia's next tech unicorns. So today's guest is Parthiven Shan, the CEO of TixCarte. Welcome to the show, Parthi.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you to BizTech team.
Yeah, Parthy, you've originally started out as a B2C focused business, but now you've gone B2B. Give us a perspective of what you do and your journey so far.
Sure. So before we get into the technicalities of B2B or B2C, so allow me to elaborate on the travel space and how TixCarte kind of fits into it. So the three founders, we are from a combination of technical and business background. And our exposure to the travel industry started about 8 years ago when we were called upon to develop a ticketing system for one of the largest attractions in Malaysia. So they needed a solution to help them sell online tickets, redeem the tickets, ensure there's no fraudulent tickets going around and so forth. So like every software provider, we looked at the issue and developed a solution. But at that time, little we know that these issues were not just isolated to that particular attraction. How tickets were sold online, how they were distributed to resellers, to travel agents, to travel websites, e-wallets, and all that. So when we started our B2C platform, because of the way it was developed, it became quite popular for not just travelers, but also third-party travel business to buy tickets on behalf of guests. Our solution is seamless, we could integrate with API and all that. So we didn't really pivot from B2B. It's just our solution was underserving a B2B segment. Yeah.
Okay, so walk us through a little bit in details what your solution does.
Okay, so the model itself is quite straightforward, I feel. We have a wide range of ticketing distribution channels, right? You have your travel websites, you have your e-wallets, airline platforms. I regard them as TixCarte's partners. So on the other side is we meet attractions and activities and we educate them on the importance of effectively and seamlessly list and sell their attraction on these partner channels and not to overly rely on their conventional means of distribution. So this helps their business engage new customer segments that probably was not possible before. So for example,
those traditional segments are also shorter. The commissions are pretty high, right? And so are you then helping them in terms of their margins?
Yes, definitely. I mean, typically they would work with conventional travel agents and giving out a higher commission for each ticket sold.
Yeah, what sort of commissions are we talking about?
It can go up to about 40% per ticket.
Wow. Okay. And versus what you do, how much do you charge?
We do about 15 to 20%.
Okay, so that's a very substantial saving for the thing. So there's a compelling value that you bring to the table.
Absolutely. So it's just not commission based itself, but also the market reach, right? So for example, we have tied up with one of the largest European travel platforms. So imagine a small boat ride provider in Mersing, for example, being able to list their activity to a European visiting Malaysia, right? Of course, when the borders are all open and all that. So for every ticket that is sold through our distribution channel, TixCarte makes a commission. So it's very attractive for the attractions itself.
Okay, and so your business model is around taking a piece of the pie. What sort of commissions do you charge them? What sort of range?
So we charge them between 15 to 20% for each ticket that we sold. Conventionally, if they do it, yeah, it's a lot more higher than that. But it's all about the reach that they probably didn't have before. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So it opens new opportunities for them, new markets, and so forth.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, who are your key management team that you've put, and how did you put them together? Did you all start this business together, or how did that happen?
So the team is made up of three founders, Brian Wong, Arul, and myself. We all are focusing in executing different components of the business, but we've been working around together for about 12 over years now. And I believe that, well, the team synergy is extremely important for us, but we have a good mixture of members who have vast experience in travel business, solution architects. So it's important to have people who understand the industry, which we have, and also people who can actually provide solutions based on the pain points of the industry.
Okay, speaking of the pain points of the industry, you are in a very challenging space right now, which is travel, right? Because the borders are shut and so forth.
Yeah.
Now, why would someone want to invest in a business like yourself? What is your sweet spot?
Well, absolutely. I think it's imperative that we address the elephant in the room, right? The 2020 pandemic. Revenue numbers in the industry historically low. We are also seeing reports that about 40% of travel businesses have either closed down or decided to pivot into some other maybe food delivery business. But it just pretty much accelerated what we've been advocating for a long time. Too many manual legacy processes were in place in the industry, right? If you look at some of the reports, unprecedented amount of number of cancellation of orders, middleman arrangements, and all that. All this amplifies what is actually the issue in the travel industry itself. But what's happened is quite interesting. Well, it is been a slow year, but over the last few months, our acquisition and attractions have been growing substantially. So, because a lot of these partners actually understand the importance of the model that we are doing, right? Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is the size of the market, and who are your key competitors, Parthiven?
Okay, if you look at Southeast Asia alone, the attractions and activity vertical is worth about $60 billion US. In terms
Okay,
of
and how much of that?
yeah. Sorry.
How much of that is addressable by you?
So we're looking at probably about 20 to 25 billion, because that is basically the activities that falls beautifully within our scope of model. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and who are your key competitors in this space?
So there are a couple of competitors, somewhat direct competitors, to name a few, Global Takes and Be My Guest, who are Singaporean-based companies. Okay. So I think, yeah.
And both of them are very well funded. They've been around for a while. They're very well funded. So what makes you special? Why would somebody invest in you?
Yeah. While their model works on, definitely they are funded, and that's a good thing. So while their model works on attractions, totally needing to adopt their solution, TixCarte's model is, I feel, is better poised for the Southeast Asia landscape.
Why is that?
So Southeast Asia activities, they range from big theme parks to your small boat rides that either they have like a ticketing setup or they don't have anything at all. Our lightweight, easy to adapt solution gives us the edge to work with a wider range of providers. So we are.
So are you a sort of plug and play type thing? You can work with anybody.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So we are serving an extremely underserved market because our system is so easy to adapt, and it works well with the Southeast Asia landscape.
So when you say easy to adopt and you say underserved, it means you could work with small players as well as large players.
Yes.
Okay, and who are your key customers and partners currently, and what sort of contracts and reach do you have?
So we have about 2,500 listings of activities through our merchant providers. That is your activities and providers. So that's one side of the spectrum. So on the other side, our distribution channels, which are key partners to us, they include airline platforms like AirAsia, who is our partner, Malindo, e-wallets. We have Boost, GoPays, and we are in the midst of adding a few more e-wallets in Malaysia and regionally. And we are also extremely excited to announce that we are supplying tickets to big regional players like KKday and Tickets, who are huge OTAs from Europe.
So are these exclusive agreements? Do you have some sort of barriers to entry that solidify your position?
So it is an exclusive in the sense that we are providing the Malaysian inventory to them, but they can probably work with other providers in different countries.
So I suppose then the key takeaway that I get from this is the fact that because you're plug and play, you can work with existing providers, you are lower commissions. Therefore, once you're in the system and they've adopted you, that in fact acts as a barrier to entry because people don't change, right? Basically, once you're in there, they're transacting unless you're too expensive or you get greedy and you increase your prices, they are not going to move.
Absolutely. I think the commercial angle makes sense. The tech adoption makes sense, right? That's the two main things why people would stick with a business or a way to the model to work. Yeah.
Okay, so where are you at currently in terms of revenues, and what are your projections in terms of revenues and profits?
So we were on a healthy growth. We were doing about 2 times quarter-on-quarter sales. Well, this is obviously before the whole pandemic situation.
Yes. Okay.
But we are confident of a strong travel rebound from months of pent up, sitting at home and all that. And the B2B travel space, what's interesting about it is it has exciting customer lifetime value with really favorable customer acquisition costs as well. So we are targeting for a GMV of 80 million by 2023 and to be profitable by the last quarter of 2022, of course, depending on market rebounds and all that.
Yeah, and so that's an interesting thing because, as I said, this is a very challenging period in terms of travel. So a lot of investors may be a little bit hesitant. But so BizTech does a 1 p.m. show every day with analysts around the world, and it's a business show. What consistently comes out from comments from these analysts is the fact that while travel is down significantly right now, some of the metrics that are not observable is the fact that when travel is reopened, the pent-up demand is one factor that will influence the uptick of travel. The other thing is also the fact that because people who are working are actually saving more money, the spend each time they go and travel is going to go up. So I think that's a key metric that a lot of people are missing out on. That could be interesting when travel actually rebounds. And also the analysts are also projecting that when we have a rebound, the rebound, although will be spotty, as we can see now with the recurrence of COVID, once the situation is stabilized, there will be a steep hockey stick type curve in terms of that travel rebound.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask you this. This sounds like a great idea, but all entrepreneurs have great idea. It's all about execution. Now, where do you see are your execution risks, and how are you going to overcome them?
Absolutely. I think ideas, yeah. You're right in saying that. I mean, ideas are great. It's all about execution. We know that. We have spent this year to fine-tune some of our acquisition and sales process. And we're really happy with what we've come up with. So next year is all going to be about wrapping up numbers and executing itself. Of course, all this doesn't come without risk, right? There's always the fear of travel bans being extended, but the news of vaccines surely is encouraging for the industry. I'll just add on to what you said earlier as well. We saw record visits to Malacca in August, just as they lifted the MCO. And this was actually higher than 2019, the similar month. So there is definitely a lot of pent-up demand. People are waiting to go on, right? So, but despite the risk, and as I mentioned before, we are building for the future. Our solution, our model, our partnerships is all geared towards capitalizing on a strong market rebound.
Now, you are looking at an expansion strategy, obviously. Where are the growth markets for you after Malaysia?
After Malaysia, and this is already in our pipeline, and we're already working on it, our expansion strategy is to focus on Southeast Asia market itself. So there are estimated about 8,000 attractions and activity listings and about 500 identified potential partnerships. And this is a list that we already have and we already started to contact. So our goal is basically to be the most comprehensive B2B provider of attraction and activity inventory in Southeast Asia.
Now, to do that, you need money. Are you looking to raise money? And if so, how much are you looking to raise, and what sort of valuation are you looking to do that at?
We are, we have set in motion a few tasks that we want to do, but to achieve our revenue and profit goals, to be profitable by 2022. And in order to do that, we are looking to raise $500,000 at a valuation of about 4.5 million, US dollars as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what sort of runway will that give you?
So most of the money, I think we will be using it for business development, for 50% about it for business development, and then tech and salaries. With that fund injection, we should be able to build a runway of 15 months or so.
Okay. Okay. And then what's the funding plan after that? And this is something that investors want to hear. If you're looking for funding, they want to know what is the exit. So how can they get their money back?
Of course, everyone wants their money back, right? Our target is definitely, as I said before, 2022 profitable, and this is our responsibility to shareholders as well. But we are doing that while we are acquiring new market, and this is what I feel about TixCarte's model, business model itself. It fits nicely within the ecosystem. It's a perfect model that works to to provide a solution that works between different players in the industry. And for that reason, the founders are definitely looking for a strategic acquisition as an exit plan.
Okay, so you look at this as potentially bigger guy coming in, trade sale deal for you.
Yes, definitely.
Now, with that, we're gonna any final words, Parthi, before we end this exciting and very interesting interview?
Well, I think just like everyone else, right? We all are waiting to just go out again, and it is the responsibility of everyone in the travel industry to ensure that everyone who's traveling, the customers and all that, is probably in an environment that is safe, secure, and the confidence in travel comes back, and it will eventually.
Parthi, thank you very much for an enlightening interview, and good luck with your fundraising and all the best in executing your plans. We've been speaking to Parthiven Shan, the CEO of TixCarte, on BizTech's Asia's hottest startup show. I'm Brian Fernandez. This video will be on our Facebook and LinkedIn sites, as well as our website, www.biztech.com.